Okay, still working with graphing today. Open, I believe this is page 6. Okay, on page 6 we jump into some word problems. Okay, instead of them giving us a graph, they're just going to tell us what transformations were made, and we have to write the equation from there. Okay, so 29 says write the equation of a square root function. Okay, square root that has been translated to the right 10 units and up 6. Okay, I know to go up 6, I'm going to add a 6 to the outside. And to go right 10, I'm actually going to subtract 10 under the radical. Okay, going across right here to number 34. Write an equation of a cubed root function. Cube root that went left 3 units. In order to go left, you have to think opposite under the radical. Left 3 units and down 5. Okay, number 30. The cubed root function. Left 4 units and reflected in the x-axis. So for x, it goes on the outside. You have to think kind of different there. Okay, if I want to reflect over the y, then my x becomes negative. If I want to reflect over the x, the entire function becomes negative. Okay, 35. Square root function. Up 8 units and reflected over the x. If nothing happens under the radical, over the x gets a negative on the outside. <clears throat> 31. Square root function. Left 2 units. All that's happening under the radical and reflected in the y-axis, so the negative goes with the x on that one, not the whole function, just on the x. Okay, over here to 36. Square root function. Down 9 units and reflected in the y-axis, so my negative goes under here with my x. Okay, we are going to skip 32 and 37. Okay, however, I do want to do 33 and 38 down here. Okay, I want you to think about this for a little bit. Okay, it says a square root function. Okay, so let's think about our square root function. This fella right here has a domain where x is less than or equal to -1. Okay, so if I were to graph this guy, okay, normally he's sitting right there at 0, 0. If I want his domain to be less than his x, the domain of x to be less than or equal to -1. Okay, that means I want to stop at -1, and I want every x to be less than that, so he's going to be going that way. That takes care of this part of the equation. And I want my range for all of my y's to be greater than 2. Okay, all of my y's to be greater than 2, so that means I then want to move the guy up 2 units. Okay, so the red one is my original at 0, 0. This one over here changed my domain, and this final one is the final product. Okay, so let's write that equation. Okay, it is a square root function where I flipped over the y-axis. I went left 1 unit, so I add a 1 on the inside, and then I went up 2. Okay, definitely one of the more difficult ones. Okay, same thing for 38. We're going to have to think, sketch ourselves a picture. Okay, here's my graph, a really bad graph. Okay, and here's my original right there at 0, 0. Okay, write the equation of a square root function whose domain is x is greater than 3. Okay, so I'm going to move him to 3. 1, 2, 3. And greater than means I want it to stay going this direction. Okay, but I want a range of all of my y's to be less than 4. Okay, less than 4, which means I want it to move down 4. But I want every y to be less than that, so I want it to flip this way. Okay, so there's my process here. Here's where I started. This is making my domain greater than 3. Flipping it makes my range every y less than 4, and that is not correct. Totally went the wrong way. It's this 4, not negative 4. Okay, so it goes that way. Okay, so let's write that equation. Y equals, okay, he is flipped upside down. Okay, x, I went to the right 3, and I went up 4. Okay, both of those super difficult equations to write. Okay, flip on over to page 7. Okay, 7 gives us an equation again. Wants us to write the domain and range on numbers 1 through 4. Okay, it gives us the equation, wants us to sketch a picture and do the domain and range. Okay, so we have the square root function plus 4. So jot out to the side where we're going to go. Okay, that makes us go left 4 and then down 2. Okay, so I take him from his normal resting place of 0, 0. I move him to the left 4. And I move him down 2. He has not flipped anywhere, so he's still going to go this direction. Okay, as far as my domain, how far to the left did I go? Well, I went to the left 4. And then I go infinity. My range moved me down to negative 2. And I can go forever in the positive infinity. Okay, number 2. Again, let's write what's happening. I am flipping upside down. And I'm going up 30. Okay, so up 3. And instead of going like a rainbow, now I'm going this way. Okay, my domain, because I didn't go left and right, didn't change from a normal square root. Okay, so the domain is what normal square root is, 0 to infinity. Remember, range is bottom to top, so the lowest I get is negative infinity, because I'm due bottom, and then the highest I can get is positive 3. Okay, don't let them confuse you right here with number 3. Okay, you remember when we write these square root things, you can rewrite it as a exponent of 1/2. Okay, again, so technically this can be rewritten as this right here. Okay, this x minus 2 is under the radical. The plus 3 is outside of it. Okay, so that means we are going to the right 2, and then we're going to go up 3. Okay, so right 2, up 3, and there's our our graph. I totally went into myself there. Okay, the domain is changed by any left and right shifting. Okay, so the farthest left that I can go now is right here at 2. And I can stay on that in the positive direction all the way to infinity. And the lowest point I will ever get to on my y-axis is 3. And the highest I will get to is infinity. Okay, number 4. He is flipped. He has moved left 2. And he went up 2. So we've got 3 things going on with this one. Okay, the flip is outside, so that means it's just going to flip upside down. Okay, so let's shift him first and flip him last. Okay, so we go left 2, up 2, and he gets flipped upside down. Okay, the domain, since we went left 2, the domain is now affected this way. Okay, the furthest to the left we could ever go is right there to -2, and the graph stops. Okay, but we can stay on it forever to infinity. As far as the range of this one, remember range is bottom to top. So the lowest we will ever get is negative infinity on the y. And the highest we will ever get is +2. Okay, a little different down here with these guys. They gave us the graph, want us to write the equation. Okay, maybe easier to do the domain and range first. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, domain, this one is -1 to infinity. The range, lowest point is -infinity all the way up to a y value of 0. And to write the equation, we need to ask what happened to it. Okay, it did get flipped, and it moved to the left 1. So our equation is y equals, it is the square root function, flipped upside down, negative on the outside, x plus 1 would move it to the left 1 unit. Okay, number 6. For domain, doesn't look like we went left and right anywhere, so our domain is 0 to infinity. In our range, the lowest point we will ever get to is this +1 right here, and then we will continue forever in the positive direction. Okay, it looks like the only shift that happened, or the only transformation, is that we went up 1 unit. So y equals the square root of x. To go up 1, you add 1 to the outside of the radical. And last one here. domain from -1 to infinity. And we didn't go up and down anywhere, so the range is 0 to infinity. Okay, in this one it looks like the only transformation is left 1 unit. Y equals the square root. Remember, to go left, it is actually opposite, so +1 under the radical.